The classroom fell deathly silent as my 5-year-old daughter Sophia held up her colorful crayon drawing of two women holding hands with a little girl in the middle. "This is me with my two moms, Elaine and Cassidy," she announced with innocent pride, her big brown eyes sparkling, while my world crumbled in that instant, because I had spent years hiding our family from everyone who mattered. I could feel the eyes of 20 other kindergartners and their parents boring into me as I sat in the back row for the back-to-school presentation day at Lincoln Elementary in suburban Chicago. The teacher, Mrs. Ramirez, froze mid-sentence, her smile fading into awkward confusion. Whispers started like a slow wave. "Two moms? Is that even possible? Did she say wife?" My hands trembled on my knees, the simple gold band on my finger suddenly feeling like a brand. Cassidy was waiting outside in the car, as we had agreed, to keep up the facade that I was a single mom who had adopted Sophia through some anonymous donor. It was supposed to be our safe secret, protecting my conservative family back in Texas, and avoiding the judgmental stares in this tight-knit school district. But now, in one childish stroke of crayon, everything was unraveling. My mind raced back to the night Sophia was born 5 years ago. Cassidy had been by my side the entire time, her hand squeezing mine as the surrogate delivered our miracle baby. Conceived with donor sperm we chose together after years of saving and planning. We had married in a small ceremony in Massachusetts the year before, but we never told a soul outside our close circle of friends. My mother, battling cancer at the time, had always made her views clear. Marriage is between a man and a woman, Elaine. Don't bring shame on the family. So I lied. I said Sophia was from a one-night stand I regretted, and Cassidy was just my roommate helping out. The guilt had eaten at me every day, but the love we shared as a family made it seem worth it. Until now. Sophia continued, pointing at the figures in her drawing. "This one is Mommy Elaine with the dark hair, and this is Mommy Cassidy with the yellow hair. They love me so much and we have pizza nights every Friday." The class erupted in giggles from the kids, but the parents exchanged glances that ranged from pity to outright disgust. One mother, Karen, whose husband was a deacon at the local church, stood up abruptly. "This is inappropriate for kindergarten. Children shouldn't be exposed to this." Her voice cut through the room like a knife. I stood up too, my voice shaking but determined. "Sophia is just sharing her family. There's nothing wrong with that." But inside I was screaming. How could I have been so naive to think we could hide forever? The price of my deception was about to be paid in full, starting with this moment of public humiliation. Mrs. Ramirez tried to regain control, clapping her hands. "Okay, everyone, let's give Sophia a big round of applause for her beautiful drawing." The applause was polite but forced, and I could already see phones coming out, parents texting under their desks. Sophia beamed at me, completely unaware of the storm she had just unleashed. I forced a smile back, but my chest tightened with the familiar panic I had lived with since the day we brought Sophia home. Cassidy and I had argued about this exact moment for months before school started. "She deserves to say our names proudly," Cassidy had said one night, her blue eyes flashing with frustration as we folded laundry in our quiet townhouse. "I'm tired of being your secret roommate, Elaine. What are we protecting her from if not the truth?" I had snapped back. "My mother's health is hanging by a thread. One more shock could kill her. You don't understand what it's like growing up in my family." The argument ended with us sleeping in separate rooms, the kind of cold distance that had been creeping into our marriage more often lately. Now, as the presentations wrapped up and parents gathered their kids, Karen approached me with a tight smile. "Elaine, right? We should talk. My daughter is in the same class, and I think the school board needs to know about this situation." Her words dripped with false concern, but her eyes were sharp. I nodded stiffly, heart pounding, already calculating how fast I could get Sophia out of there and warn Cassidy. Outside in the parking lot, Cassidy leaned against our minivan, her blonde hair catching the September sun, looking every bit the loving mom she was. When she saw my face, her smile vanished. "What happened?" she asked, pulling Sophia into a hug. I whispered the words that changed everything. "Sophia told the whole class about us." Cassidy's face went pale, but she didn't yell. She just held our daughter tighter and said quietly, "Then maybe it's time we stop running." The drive home was silent except for Sophia chattering about her new friends. I gripped the wheel, replaying every choice that led us here. The late-night talks where I convinced Cassidy to wear the roommate mask, the fake family photos I sent my mother with only me and Sophia, the way I had trained myself to flinch at the word wife in public. By the time we pulled into the driveway, my phone was already buzzing with texts from other parents. The confrontation had begun, and I knew the real storm was still coming. By evening, our townhouse felt like a war room. Cassidy paced the living room while I scrolled through the growing group chat messages from the kindergarten parents. "This isn't just about Sophia's drawing," one read. "It's about values." Another from Karen. "I've spoken to Principal Hayes. Meeting tomorrow at 8 a.m. You should come prepared to explain." I set the phone down, nausea rising. Sophia was already asleep upstairs, clutching her drawing like a treasure, oblivious to the fact that her innocent art had cracked open the lie I had built around our lives. Cassidy stopped pacing and faced me, arms crossed. "I told you this would happen, Elaine. We can't keep pretending forever." Sophia is starting to notice. Last week she asked why she can't call me mom in front of grandma on the phone. Her voice cracked, and I saw the hurt I had caused for years, the trade-off I had forced on the woman I loved. We had met in college in Austin, two scared girls from different worlds. Me, the preacher's daughter hiding from my family's sermons. Her, the free-spirited artist from California who had never hidden anything. Our first kiss under the stars at a campus protest had felt like freedom. 10 years later, here we were, still paying the price. "I know," I whispered, pulling her into my arms. "But my mom just finished chemo. If she finds out now, it could break her. You remember what happened when my cousin came out? My dad cut him off completely." Cassidy softened for a moment, resting her head on my shoulder, but then pulled back. "And what about us? What about the nights I lie awake wondering if you're ashamed of me? I gave up my gallery job in New York to move here with you to raise Sophia together. I'm tired of being the invisible wife." The words stung because they were true. I had asked her to sacrifice visibility for my family's peace, and now the debt was due. The next morning at the principal's office, the tension was thick. Principal Hayes, a kind but cautious man in his 50s, sat behind his desk with Karen and two other parents. "We're not here to judge," he started, "but we have to consider the school community. Some families have expressed concerns about curriculum exposure." I defended us calmly at first, explaining that our family was no different from any other. Two parents who loved their child. Cassidy sat beside me, holding my hand openly for the first time in public, her grip steady. But Karen wasn't satisfied. "This is confusing for children. My daughter came home asking if she could have two dads next. Where does it end?" The meeting dragged on for an hour, full of careful language that still felt like condemnation. I left feeling raw, but Cassidy was furious. "They're treating us like a problem to manage," she said in the hallway. "I'm done hiding, Elaine. If you won't tell your mother, I will." It was the first direct threat she had ever made, and it hit like betrayal. We drove home in separate cars, the distance between us widening. That afternoon my phone rang, my mother's number. My stomach dropped. Karen had somehow gotten my mother's contact through a church network and shared concerns. "Elaine, what is this nonsense about you having a wife?" Mom's voice was weak from treatment but sharp with shock. "Is Sophia really from that lifestyle?" I tried to explain, but the line went quiet. "I raised you better," she said finally, then hung up. The call left me shaking. Cassidy found me crying in the kitchen and pulled me close, but the comfort felt fragile. "This is what hiding gets us," she murmured. "Pain for everyone." That night we talked until dawn, about the moral cost of my choices, the way I had betrayed her trust by prioritizing my fear over our truth. For the first time, I wondered if the protection I thought I was giving Sophia was actually teaching her that love had to be secret. The awakening was painful, but it was starting. The backlash spread faster than I could contain. By the end of the week, Sophia came home from school in tears because a boy had said her family was weird. Cassidy comforted her with stories about how love comes in all shapes, but I saw the doubt in our daughter's eyes, the first crack in the innocence I had tried so hard to preserve. Meanwhile, my mother's silence turned into action. She called my sister, who then called me. "Mom's not doing well. She says you lied to her for years. How could you, Elaine?" The guilt twisted like a knife. I had traded my mother's peace for our family's safety, but now both were shattered. Cassidy and I argued again that night after putting Sophia to bed. You always choose them over us, she said, voice low but trembling. Your family, your reputation, your fear. I'm starting to think you never wanted to be out with me. The accusation cut deep because part of it was true. I had been the one pushing for secrecy from the beginning, convincing myself it was noble. I'm scared, I admitted, tears streaming. Scared of losing everything we built. But Cassidy shook her head. Hiding is what's losing us. I can't keep paying this price. She slept on the couch, leaving me alone with the weight of my decisions. Monday brought more confrontation. At work, where I managed accounts at a conservative marketing firm, my boss pulled me aside. We've had complaints from clients who saw the school group chat. They're concerned about our family-friendly image. No outright firing, but the promotion I had been promised vanished. The betrayal stung because the leak had come from Karen, who turned out to be connected to one of our biggest clients. I drove home early, feeling the cost of my lie in every area of life. When I walked in, Cassidy was packing a bag. I need space, she said quietly. Sophia can stay with you. I'll be at my sister's in the city for a few days. The sight of her suitcase broke something inside me. This was the trade-off I had feared most, losing the woman who had stood by me through everything. That evening alone with Sophia, I read her the drawing story again. Why can't I say both your names at school? She asked. I had no good answer, only the truth I had hidden. Because Mommy was scared people wouldn't understand how much we love each other. Her small hand on my cheek felt like forgiveness and accusation at once. The internal conflict raged. Had I protected her or damaged her? The next morning my sister texted. Mom wants to see you. Come to Texas this weekend. Alone. The demand was clear. Face the family without Cassidy. I booked the flight, knowing it was another test of the choices that had defined me. The flight to Dallas felt like a descent into my past. My mother met me at the door of our old family home. Thinner from chemo but eyes still fierce. Sit down, Elaine, she said, voice steady despite the oxygen tube. Explain why you hid a whole marriage and child from me. I told her everything, the love, the wedding, the surrogate, the fear of her disapproval. Tears filled her eyes. You thought I'd rather die not knowing my granddaughter's real family? The pain in her voice mirrored my own guilt. She didn't yell. She just asked the question that haunted me. Was your secret worth the years I lost with Cassidy? I stayed 3 days, facing my father's quiet disappointment and my sister's anger. You made us all look like fools, she said during a heated dinner. We defended you to the church when rumors started. The confrontation stripped away every layer of my justification. By the third night, Mom took my hand. I don't approve, but I love you. Bring them both next time. If Cassidy will still have you. It was partial acceptance, but it came at the cost of her weakened health. The stress had landed her back in the hospital for a night. I flew home changed, yet the damage in my own marriage waited. Cassidy returned the day I landed, but the distance remained. Your family meeting didn't fix us, she said over coffee while Sophia played outside. You still chose to go alone. I'm done being the secret you trot out when it's safe. Her words forced me to confront the moral dilemma head-on. I had betrayed the woman I vowed to love by keeping her hidden, all in the name of protecting others. That night we talked for hours about the awakening I was finally having. How secrecy had poisoned our bond. How Sophia deserved parents who lived openly. Cassidy cried when I admitted. I was wrong. Hiding wasn't protection. It was fear wearing a mask. We didn't sleep together yet, but the wall cracked. The school fallout continued. Principal Hayes called another meeting, this time with a district counselor. Parents like Karen pushed for alternative arrangements, code for separating Sophia from the class. I stood firm beside Cassidy this time, publicly introducing her as my wife. The room went quiet again, but a few parents nodded in support. One mother even apologized later. I was wrong to judge. Small victories, but the real battle was internal. I had traded my peace for years of lies, and now I was paying with sleepless nights questioning every decision. Back in Chicago, the tension at school escalated into open conflict. Karen circulated a petition among parents demanding age-appropriate family discussions only. Cassidy and I attended the PTA meeting together, hands linked facing the stairs. Our daughter is not a debate topic, Cassidy said calmly when it was her turn. Her voice carried the strength I had hidden for so long, and watching her defend us openly filled me with both pride and regret. I had forced her to fight alone in the shadows. Now she stood in the light while I caught up. At home, Sophia sensed the shift. Are you and Mommy Cassidy getting a divorce? She asked one evening after I tucked her in. The question gutted me. I had traded our family's stability for secrecy, and now our child was paying the emotional price. Cassidy and I stayed up late again, hashing out the betrayals, mine in hiding, hers in the temporary separation that had scared Sophia. I almost left for good, she confessed. But I love you both too much to walk away without trying. The admission hurt because it showed the damage my choices had inflicted. We decided then to enroll Sophia in a family counseling session and join a local LGBTQ parents group. The awakening was mutual. Hiding had cost us trust. Openness might cost us comfort, but it was the only path forward. My mother called midweek voice stronger. I've been thinking. Bring Cassidy and Sophia for Thanksgiving. No more secrets. The invitation felt like grace, but it came after months of strain that had weakened her heart further. I flew them down for a tense but honest weekend. My father hugged Cassidy awkwardly. My sister asked real questions about our marriage. The confrontations were gentler this time, but the trade-off remained. My family's acceptance required their own painful adjustment. Sophia drew another picture that weekend. All four of us under one roof. Now everyone knows, she said proudly. Back home, work still suffered. My boss suggested keeping personal matters private, another subtle punishment for the exposure. I turned down the promotion outright, choosing instead to freelance so I could be more present for Sophia and Cassidy. The decision stung financially, but it was the price of integrity. Cassidy started painting again, her first gallery piece in years titled Hidden Light, a metaphor for the love we had buried. Watching her reclaim her art felt like redemption for the years I had dimmed her. The final cracks healed slowly through the winter. Sophia thrived once the class adjusted, her drawing now hanging in the hallway with a note from Mrs. Ramirez. All families welcome. Karen's petition faded when other parents pushed back, proving prejudice wasn't unanimous. Cassidy and I renewed our vows in a small backyard ceremony with Sophia as flower girl. Public, proud, no more masks. My mother attended via video, smiling through tears. I'm proud of the family you built, even if it's not the one I pictured. The words closed a chapter, but the cost lingered in her frailty and the friends we lost along the way. I sat on the porch one cold evening, Cassidy's head on my shoulder, Sophia asleep inside. The journey from that classroom silence to this quiet peace had forced every confrontation, every betrayal of trust, every moral trade-off into the light. I had hidden our love thinking it protected us, but it only delayed the truth that now bound us stronger. The price, lost promotions, family strain, Sophia's tears, Cassidy's near exit had been steep, yet the awakening was worth it. We had chosen honesty over comfort, and the family we rebuilt was real. Was it right for me to hide our lesbian family for so long? Or was the painful exposure the only way to live authentically?